Welcome back to the Shine Within podcast. I have here Scarlett Stanhope, also known as the Biz Hippie. She is a clarity, money, and abundance coach who helps coaches and entrepreneurs transform their relationship with money so they can confidently own their worth and thrive in the work they love. After a near-death experience shifted her life path from corporate management to holistic healing, Scarlett combined her background in business, finance, and coaching to create Empowered Abundance, a program designed to help leaders step into alignment, abundance, and ease with money. A certified coach to the World Coach Institute and a level 2 Unlifted coach, Scarlett brings both tangible money strategies and energetic tools to her work. When she's not coaching, she's usually barefoot in nature, my favorite, drumming with her family. I need to do more of that, or exploring plant medicine in the jungle. And yes, everything's already here for us, medicine and plants included. You're in for a treat, listeners. Scarlett, thank you so much for being on my show today. I know we were talking about we need to hit record now because we have so many things we can just chit chat about.
Oh my gosh, Gina, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, the conversation at the beginning of this was too good. And I was like, we just need to click record on this because I could just keep responding and this could become the whole episode. So,
Right? Yes. But before we get into that topic, because we were talking about some good stuff here, can you just go ahead and share just a little bit about your personal journey from managing restaurants, chasing business success, and to actually hitting rock bottom and then swinging on to the full hippie mode, which I love.
yeah, I feel like my journey is very similar to a lot of people where I grew up believing in like perfectionism and being a good student and doing life right and getting straight A's. And the truth is I am actually very skilled at living that kind of life. I'm a workaholic, perfectionist, type A high achiever. I got straight A's growing up. And I was doing all the things right. And that bled into my young adulthood too. Even as a young adult, like I got to get the right job that pays good money and make sure I go to school and, just following the life path. And so that led me to managing restaurants. At the age of 18, I started in the restaurant industry. Culinary was actually my first passion. I almost went to culinary school, but at the last minute, I really changed my mind and went to business because I was like, business is going to make more money than culinary. So money really drove my actions. So I kept, climbing the life success ladder. I was going to college, getting my bachelor's in business management, accounting, and finance, maintaining my 3.9 GPA, managing restaurants, working 30 hours a week, wearing 4-inch heels, blazers, full face of makeup, false eyelashes, the whole deal. Yeah. And at the same time, was paying for college out of pocket, had $30,000 in savings, and had zero credit card debt. So I was really doing life well. I was doing life right. But at the same time, inside, I was dying. I was unfulfilled. I was so disconnected from myself, what I wanted, what was important to me. And I literally felt like a zombie walking through my life. I felt like an empty, hollow shell where I was just chameleoning around and becoming who I was supposed to be and doing all the right things in the hopes that someday I would arrive at some magical finish line and then I could start enjoying my life and then I could start doing the things I wanted to do. And so I kept going on this path until I did hit that rock bottom where one day I woke up and realized, oh my gosh, my life is happening right now. It's up to me to do something about it and start living today because life is passing me by. And that's really what inspired my journey of taking back control of my life. And instead of being dictated by this world of shoulds and money and success and, doing life right, and instead starting to live a life that was in alignment for me and what was important to me and really creating that vision and that reality. So that's the full summary of my journey.
Now, you actually experienced a near death. Like I've had two suicidal attempts, both failed for a reason, but the I would say the last one was in 2012. This wasn't that, I mean, it was a long time ago, but not that long ago. And that was like the wake up call, but it really wasn't like the wake up call for me. How did your near death experience, how did that actually shake your world? And did that moment shift your perspective on life, business, and money?
Absolutely. Yeah, because and I have to say my experience it's hard to say if it was actually near death because what happened was I genuinely believed I was having seizures and dying and that this was the end and it was a very severe panic attack that
Mm.
genuinely felt like the end of the world, right? I'm sure others have experienced this as well too. And so in that moment when I genuinely thought this is it, I'm dying, what happened was there was a part of me that was like, okay, well, I can just lay here and like let myself die and this is it. And that was a very strong part of me. But then there was this other part of me that came up to the surface and I'll never forget it. And that part said, like, if I'm going to die, then I do not want to die here in this home, in this bed, next to this person, in this situation, in this life that I've created for myself, in this like relationship I shouldn't be in, right? In this whole life context that I've been living. And that voice got me up, literally. So there's a whole backstory to this, but it got me up out of bed and like on the phone with my mom calling for help. And so, really, that moment was such a pivot point for me because it was the first time in my life when I had made a decision about my life. Before that, my life had been so passive. I was indecisive and I was just choosing what I thought I should do. Like, what's the right thing? But and honestly, I was just going with the flow of life. Indecision was my choice, and I would stay on the fence until like life pushed me in a direction, and that's where I would end up going. And so this was the first time where I really made a decision and a choice about my life. And I had to be faced with death in order to do it. And even then, it still like wasn't the obvious answer. And so that, like, after that, things started to change very slowly and incrementally. But really, I learned, oh, I'm the one in control and I can make decisions for my life. And so that's what I've been doing ever since, is making active decisions for my life.
That is amazing. Yes. And we'll shift to the money mindset and abundance. And you actually teach that money, making more money isn't just the answer to problems. Or is it making more money isn't the answer to money problems? Is that correct? That's the quote I
Yeah.
got. Okay. Can you just go ahead and elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah. So, really, the philosophy, and this does tie into what we were just speaking to, because the philosophy is that in order to live the life you want to live, you have to start living it now. Because all we have is today, all we have is the present. This is the only moment that exists. And we are trained to keep our vision of our best life out in the future. That's really the world that we live in, where we're taught, okay, if you grow up and work really hard, then someday you'll retire and then you get to do the things you want to do. Or, like, okay, right now you might be stressed about money, but if you work really hard and you get more money, then you're going to arrive there and then you'll feel better, right? And so we're chasing some future point in order to create the life we want to live and in order to feel the way we want to feel in that life. It's like we expect that once I get more time, more money, more like attention, more likes on my social media posts, more clients, like more anything. Like once I get more, then my life will be different and it will be better. But what happens is that people get there and you don't feel any different. You feel exactly the same. If anything, you're just like further along on the treadmill and you're exhausted. And it just keeps going and going. It's the same with money. I've had conversations with clients from all income levels, clients making low, amounts of money and clients making higher amounts of money. And they all resonate with the same feelings of not enoughness, of stress, of overwhelm, of self-doubt, because it's not about the amount that you have. It's about your relationship with what you currently have. And so, yes, bringing in more money is awesome, but only if it's able to actually feel like more. so many people make more and more and it never feels like enough. And then they feel like they have to keep hustling and working to maintain it, and it adds more stress. And so, what I believe and what I teach is that it's 100% possible for you to feel abundant in your life now, to feel like you have enough, to feel safe, to feel supported, to live the life you want to live now with the amount of money that you currently have. And when you step into that life of abundance, more will naturally flow in, but you don't even need it to because you can live your abundant life today.
Yes. So going back to what I was saying before we hit record, I hated money before. And I was the one working that job, hustling, grinding, just saying, okay, I have to do. One time I was going to college and working three jobs,
Mm.
just to pay for my tuition and whatever. But I was always working. Even my first job, actually, I was 14. I had to get one of those permits where the parents sign off, and I got my first government check. I was like, all right. And then I was working when I was 16. I worked my whole
Yes.
life, but I didn't feel like I had enough. I feel like I was paying off all these credit cards. I was in debt all the time. I had so much money coming in, but I felt like I was poor. Now, fast forward, once I became sober, I had a mindset coach that really helped me with my limiting beliefs. I had no self-worth whatsoever. So she helped me with confidence boosting, reframing my mindset when it came to everything, including money. And then COVID happened in 2020, and I met my husband actually in 2019. Everything changed because I was practicing abundance, knowing the fact that, hey, I don't have to have money. Everything's already here for me already. And just having that, I guess, just shifting and reframing your thoughts and about money changed everything. I'm working so much more or less than I used to, but
Yeah.
I feel like I have so much more, like 10 times more than I did when I was making money. And it really comes down to our mindset, right?
Yes, yes. Because the other thing too is when you are already living your most abundant life, when you're already living your vision, then the amount of money you make really doesn't matter. Because the only reason why we want to make money in the first place is so we can live the lives we want to live. Like that's the purpose. And it's important to focus on the second half of that equation, which is living the life you want to live. Sometimes we can get so focused on the first half of that equation and the needing more. But then the question is, and what life are you living as a result? Because we need to live that life now. And that's what you're describing. Is you're like, yes, I'm working less, but I'm prioritizing what's important to me. I am enjoying my life now. And, maybe you are bringing in more money, maybe it's the same amount of money. Sometimes my clients, they find, oh, wow, I actually didn't need as much as I thought. Sometimes people think I need to be a millionaire but it's like, oh, what if you were able to actually do the things you want to do and live the life you want to live now? And what if you discovered it actually only requires X amount of money to make that happen? Then you have a very clear, specific goal that you're working towards, and you bring that life into reality instead of some big abstract goal someday off in the future that hopefully you'll achieve if you're lucky.
Yeah, and then going back to what I was saying about how I always thought money is evil, it's not, especially for the heart-centered people, because we want to do good with that money. Whatever money we get, for me anyway, I want to use that money to invest in myself so I can serve others better. And so it just comes in that full circle for me. I feel like, you know what? I deserve money flow, financial flow, and it's okay. Because before I thought like, oh, I'm greedy if I ask for money. No, because I want to serve the world. So let me,
Yeah.
and I was always the person too, like, I'll do that for free. I'll do it for free. But now I'm like,
Mhm.
no, I'm going to put a price to that because this is my time. And yeah, so I struggled with that a lot. And I know a lot of like entrepreneurs and coaches struggle with like even sales block, let's just say.
Yeah.
What are some of those root causes and how can coaches or entrepreneurs shift them?
Yeah, because your money ties big into all aspects of your life, especially your business. because your business is a money-making machine. And exactly like you said, your money is a tool for creation. It's a tool for manifestation, right? Like that's what your money does. And also, it's very normal to have limiting beliefs or scarce-based beliefs around money that say, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, money is evil or bad. And money also ties deeply into your self-worth, right? So it's your self-worth, it's your basic survival mechanism, right? It's your ability to live. So your money ties into really deep wounds, really deep enoughness and self-trust areas. And so when you heal your relationship with money, what happens is you change the flow of money through your business, the money-making machine. Because if you have any scarcity, any limiting beliefs, any seeds of not enoughness, not worthiness, that's going to show up in your business in a variety of ways. And that's going to impact sales. One of the easiest ones is scarcity doesn't sell. If you've ever gotten on a sales call with somebody and they're sitting there and they're like, "Oh my gosh, please, I'm so desperate for your money. I really need to pay my bills. Will you please buy what I'm offering?" They're like, "What? No, are you kidding me? This feels horrible." No one wants to buy that versus if you genuinely feel safe and supported and stable in your life and you are able to step into that energy and belief of enoughness, of abundance, and also the worthiness, the deservingness, the self-trust that comes with that, that energy is going to show up in all aspects of your business, your marketing, your sales, how you feel when you take action in your business, the energy you bring to your work and your service and your clients, your belief system around your value and your worth and your ability to deliver so that you can serve at that highest level, right? So, really, business success comes from deep alignment with the energy of abundance and enoughness, having and also being enough.
Yes, I actually had a podcast where we are talking about enoughness. I always like we're more than enough. And we are so deserving and we are so worthy. Otherwise, we wouldn't be existing here on earth right now. And just to tell yourself that, I remember my old coach, she had a money affirmations. I gotta go find that. It's probably in my archive somewhere. I need to bust that out and listen to it because there were some great affirmations on there. And I'm like, yes, if I affirm that to myself, it just happens. Like, but you have to believe it as well. An emotion ties with that. You know, whatever you speak, you tie it with an emotion. And then man, that's how manifestation occurs, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's why, so I really believe that money is a powerful tool for manifestation, right? We're manifesting anytime we take action in our life through how we spend our time, our energy, and our money. And so when you change your relationship with money, where you are fully aware and conscious and in control of your money and you move your money with intention, you manifest the life you want to live because you're harnessing the power of one of the three manifestors of our reality. And it comes back to that energy and that mindset behind it. And one of the best ways to cultivate the energy and the mindset behind it is also by being strategic with your money and having that masculine structure and routine around your money where you are in control of it, you manage, you track it, you have awareness around what is actually happening with your money in your bank account. Because when you become fully aware and conscious with your money, that's when you become fully aware and conscious of the life that you are creating.
Absolutely. And I also love how you make money management feel playful because Earth is like a playground. We have to make fun and have fun with everything, right? Can you just go ahead and share how we can turn what feels heavy or stressful into something fun, almost like a game?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because here's the thing. Most people who have resistance around budgeting is because budgeting is like dieting for your wallet. It feels limiting, it feels restricting. It tells you all the things you can't do with your money versus blueprinting, which is telling you what you can do with the money that you have. It's using your money as a tool to create the life you want to live. And so when you start to look at your money as a blueprint and manage your money as a blueprint, then it just becomes the method through which you choose what is important to you and through how you create your life. And so if you look at the amount of money you have and you decide what is most important to me, how am I going to prioritize those things? Right? So if it's family and fun and adventure and self-care, how can you make sure you are using your money to prioritize those things and create that life? Right? Because your money just becomes a tool for manifestation. And you can do this with whatever amount of money that you have. For example, when I was starting my business and I wanted to be a very successful business owner and manifest and attract more money in, I knew that my most abundant self donates to charities and donates to causes and is a philanthropist. Like that is part of the vision of my most abundant self. And because of that, I have made sure that from the moment that I started my business, I have always donated some amount of money to causes that I care about because that affirms the belief that I am my most abundant self, and my most abundant self is a philanthropist, and therefore I must be my most abundant self because here I am being a philanthropist. And you can do that with any amount of money. I sometimes I did it with $2, but I was always able to maintain it to affirm my vision, to affirm my abundance. And so that's really when money management becomes fun, is when you see the money that you have as an opportunity to choose your life and to make choices and decisions, and you're fully in control of those decisions and those choices, and you use your money to choose those things and bring that life into reality.
Yes, and you also work with energy practices as well. What role does identity work or even like plant medicine play in creating financial freedom?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a deep internal work side to money as well. We have that tangible side that we just talked about of managing it and being in control. And there's the deep internal side, which is your subconscious. We have scarce stories around money that we learned growing up, these common scarce-based beliefs that exist throughout society. One of them is life is or. We can either do the work we love or we can make money, but we can't do both. And so shifting out of this or mentality into the and mentality. And how we do that is by uncovering the stories where these seeds were planted and recognizing when did I learn this? What was the thing that happened in my childhood that taught me to believe these scarce-based beliefs? And I use different techniques to discharge the energy around that belief so that you really can open up your perspective and step into a deep mindset and also embodiment of abundance. So that's one tool that I really love using is story work to change these scarce-based beliefs and also parts work and selves work, tapping into the different parts of yourself who are subconsciously here to protect you and keep you safe, and therefore keep you in your comfort zone and keep you where you are. And these are the selves that cause you to self-sabotage, to, try to make more money in your business and you never quite get there, or to try and make more money in your job, but you never quite get there, or no matter how much money you make, it still never feels like enough, right? Like there's a reason why we are where we are, why we are in this comfort zone. And there are different parts of us that keep us here. So once we can uncover these parts, why they're here, what they have to say, and we're able to change their mindset and their beliefs, that's what opens up our comfort zone so we can expand further into our next level of abundance. So this is the internal side of money.
Yes, and for me, I always define abundance as not having more, but being more. How do you actually define abundance for yourself?
Yes, and I love that definition. I think that that is so accurate and that is so spot on. And one of the additions to that that I love to use as I describe abundance to my clients is abundance is your capacity to hold and experience all of life. And it's really a capacity. And so as you increase your capacity to feel and experience all of life, you also increase your capacity to receive more of life, and that includes money. And it's important to note that this happens in all directions. You always expand in all directions. So not only is it increasing your capacity to experience high levels of joy and bliss and everything's amazing and I'm achieving my goals, but also it includes expanding your capacity to hold and experience the deepest lows and that energetic whiplash of crashing back to reality and feeling deep sadness and grief and hopelessness, right? Like you're going to expand in both directions. Can you hold all of that? And when you do that, that is truly abundance.
I love that. Now you've created Empowered Abundance to help coaches transition into their next level of success. What actually inspired this program and what transformations have you actually seen in your own clients?
Yes, so Empowered Abundance was born because I had a friend come to me. I was about a year into my coaching business, and I had been a general life coach, primarily focused on developing self-confidence. And this friend came to me and she was telling me how she was stressed about money and how, she was making decent money in her 9 to 5 job, but it still felt like it wasn't enough. And she felt like she was living paycheck to paycheck. And she was also growing her coaching business and couldn't even imagine going full time and stepping into that reality if she felt like she didn't have enough now. And I realized in that moment that I actually had a lot of skill sets to help her because I also had a background in money management. I had worked a job at a budgeting company called Richer Than You Think, where they teach you how to manage your personal finances. So that's when I brought back to the table the money management side of my coaching. And this is really when I dove headfirst into the modality of money. And from there, I have just been continuing to learn new skill sets and tie it all together and have just built and built this program. So I brought in the tangible side, I bring in a variety of coaching modalities to really craft a total 6 month transformation where you fully transform your relationship with money from the inside out. And the results that I see from my clients are they find what abundance feels like, starting where they are now. I'm very distinctly one woman in particular who got on a coaching session and she said, Scarlett, right now I have $10 in my account. And in this moment, I feel more abundant than I ever have before because I know that more's coming and I know what to do with it, right? And I know I'm in control of it, right? Whereas before she had more money coming in, but she felt more scarcity, more fear, more doubt. And so that's one piece that I often see my clients is a certain level of emotional regulation where you're able to feel safe and solid and sufficient and even abundant starting from where you currently are now. And my clients see very clearly how they're creating the life that they're currently living and how to unwind these patterns so they can start to break free from it. And so, some other transitions that I have seen with my clients is actually leaving full time jobs and going all in on their coaching business. These two clients that I'm thinking of in particular, too, also moved from one country to another country and started traveling the world at the same time. So, taking big leaps and making big transitions. And then the third thing that I often see is having very solid foundations with your finances, with your mindset, with the energy you bring to your life and your business so that you can continue to steadily grow towards your vision and really make your vision a reality, but have a very clear path and process to continue to manifest your next level vision over time for the rest of your life.
Beautifully said. For someone who's actually listening who feels stuck in scarcity or fear around money, like how I used to be, what is actually just like maybe you can just give one simple step they can go ahead and take today so that way they can start shifting into that abundance mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I believe there's a lot of steps you can take, and it all starts with finding safety. Now, that's really the first piece. Underneath, like on the ladder to abundance, safety is the first rung of that ladder. And so, how can you find safety now with where you're at? How can you feel safe with the amount of money that you have, the amount of time that you have, and how can you feel enough now? And one of the ways that we can do that is by starting to uncover your current scarcity seeds, your current scarce-based beliefs. Notice where not enoughness is coming up in your mind and running the show. Notice where worthiness is coming up and noticing where there's either or thinking instead of and thinking. And even starting to bring awareness to your current relationship with money will start to shift things and will start to change things because we have to first recognize that scarcity is here and that we're operating from a place of scarcity in order to change it. Just like a fish swimming in water, right? The fish has lived in water its whole entire life. It doesn't even know the water's there. Just like us in air, we forget about air sometimes, even though it's always there around us. We need to recognize that we're swimming in water. We need to learn to see the water, and that's really the first step.
I love it. Now, for our listeners who are just like, you know what? I need to get on a call with Scarlett. I need to work with Scarlett. I need to connect with her. Can you go ahead and drop your information, please?
Absolutely. So I have a special gift that I offer only when I do guest podcast interviews, and that is a free abundance activation session. So this is a 30-minute deep dive where we're going to explore your current relationship with money so that you can see really clearly the water that you are swimming in. And then we're going to get clear on your vision. What's the life you really want to live, and how can we bring that vision into reality? What are the steps that need to happen so that you can make that life possible and make that real? And so I'll break down those three things for you. And then if you want to take it a step further and really go all in on this, we can explore support so that you can bring that into reality. So you can book your free abundance activation session with me on my website, thebizhippie.com/activate.
Yes, and everything will be in the show notes. Well, thank you for that gift. Yes, please, listeners, take advantage of that. Hop on that call, get your activation, abundance activated, and you will see things change in your life. Wow. So, last question that I always ask my listeners is what does it mean to shine within?
Mm.
And I meant guests, not listeners.
You answer those questions. Listeners, what do you think?
Yeah, listeners too.
It's a good question for the listeners, really. Everyone should answer that. Ah, yes. So I have the strong belief that if you haven't picked up on it now, I believe we are the creators of our own reality. I am the creator of my reality. And I also have the belief that when we all live the lives that we are meant to live, the lives that are in alignment with us and what we care about most and what we value and what we prioritize, not only do we change our entire lives, we also change the world. And we have a huge positive impact on the world by being our most authentic selves and living our most authentic lives. And so to me, that's really the definition of to shine within is to allow your true, most aligned, most authentic self out and to create the life for that most aligned self and to allow that to ripple out into this world that we are all co-creating.
Yes, the best gift you could give to the world is just to be truly your authentic self because the world needs you. Scarlett, thank you so much for being on my show. I loved our conversation and I just cannot wait for our listeners to go ahead and get on that call with you.
Thank you so much for having me.